At the table now, Congressman Alcee Hastings, Democrat from Florida, 23rd District, a member of the Intelligence Committee, and we remember a ways back your vote against the Iraq war. How do you feel about Afghanistan, which is so much in the news?
Conflicted.
How so?
For the reason that I'm up until 4 o'clock this morning reading General McChrystal's report, which is sobering, and in addition to that, have been paying attention to this matter for quite some time. In Iraq, serving on the Select Committee on Intelligence, there was never a time that I felt that people were getting ready to march down Constitution Avenue from Iraq or bomb Broward County, where I'm from. I never expected that, nor did I believe that there were weapons of mass destruction from the intelligence that we were receiving. Therefore, I was opposed to going into Iraq for that reason. I said, I remember on the program Crossfire, with the now departed Bob Novak being one of the presenters, he argued that the Iraqis would greet us with roses and flags, and I informed them that I thought that we would be in Iraq a long time and that it was going to cost an awful lot in life and treasure. Turning to Afghanistan, we shouldn't say Afghanistan without saying Pakistan. And we should also be mindful not only of the history, as General McChrystal has done, we should be mindful in addition to the neighbors in that region. There are many players, many actors, some that folk don't even talk about when they're talking about Afghanistan. In addition to the complexity of the population itself, you have Iran, you have India, China, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. All of them have direct relationships, and did I leave out Tajikistan? And therefore, when you are about the business of trying to resolve something as complex with as many moving parts, it requires a constant evaluation of your position. It also requires context with reference to history. These people have had 30 years of nothing but war when all is said and done in Afghanistan. Pakistan has had virtually the same amount of time with us under-resourcing or doing the things that could have helped them to have greater stability and security. And in that area, there is an extraordinary amount of distrust among the people. So now that we head there, what I call for now, Paul, is what I did before we went to Iraq. I asked then Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich, and Minority Leader Gephardt, if we could hold a forum so that people would come to understand, congresspersons, policymakers, come to understand the difference between Shia and Sunnis and Kurds and Druze and Christians. We didn't do that, and today you couldn't find 100 Congress people that could write a decent paragraph contrasting the same persons. If you ask Congress people how many Uzbeks or Tajiks are in Afghanistan, they can't tell you. You ask them how many people do we have in the military that speak Pashto, and that's one of our weaknesses. You won't find people that will tell you. And if you ask them to write for you a paragraph distinguishing the lines between Pashtuns in Pakistan and in Afghanistan, then you have a problem. So we're in a very complicated situation, and President Obama is doing exactly the right thing by slowing down on his analysis, recognizing after McChrystal's report that he's going to, of necessity, have to change his strategy.
You mentioned you're up till 4 in the morning reading the report.
Yeah.
The headline in the Wall Street Journal says Congress is pressing on the war plan. There's a lot of folks who want General McChrystal to come to Washington and testify.
I think that's appropriate, and I don't think General McChrystal has any hesitancy. One thing that needs to be remembered in this report is not one request for troops. And I keep hearing my colleagues say that we need to send troops now. Well, in March, when President Obama, March 27th, when he announced his strategy at that time, which is contemplated in the McChrystal report, I might add, when he announced his policy, he also announced that he was sending 21,000 additional troops in addition to the 68,000 that we already have there. Well, would you believe that we haven't completed sending the 21,000 yet? So that's in the mix. I think that General McChrystal would happily, along with General Petraeus, come here. We had an outstanding briefing by Secretary of State Clinton, Defense Secretary Gates, and Joint Chief of Staff Director Mullen. They came to the Congress. They gave us where we were at that time, and this is like about 7 weeks ago. And now it has been accelerated. Please understand, the words in this report allow that this is the initial, the commander's initial assessment. And for those that would argue that President Obama needs to send troops, first, this man has to ask for those troops.
First call for our guest, who is serving as